Alright, we are live, and my connection today seemed to be fine. And I'm starting 2 minutes early. That should be just fine. Okay, so what did we do yesterday? So, okay, yesterday we finished the load function here. We finished our load function, and now we have load and init. The next thing would be draw. I wouldn't be updating anything since I'm just trying to draw a single skybox, so I won't be implementing that. Let's just build this and see where we are at. And of course, our render interface is not complete. I'm just trying to get a single draw first, and then we will need more abstractions. Okay, that is our load. So and you're still getting an error because the resource loader memory is not being freed. Anyways, yesterday at the end of the stream, I just realized that I would have to do this initialize swap chain because of how swap chain is implemented here. As you can see, I have the swap chain, and then I create another and then move to it. So at some point in this line we have two swap chains, and it seems like the Forge engine is uh, realizing that and throwing an error. So we don't want errors here. I will just reset the swap chain first and then move that in. Not here. Should yeah, that is great. Yeah. Okay. So now I can actually remove that single line there. I don't want any kind of ordering between my member calls unless it is strictly uh, required from the by the type system. So that works just fine. And again, we are leaking memory from the resource loader. We will get to abstracting the resource loader later. Okay, that is that. Let's implement the draw function. Let's see what we have in the update function. Our that is our update. What it is doing? What is this thing? Update data time. Stickers. Data sky. Uniform data sky. So seems like to actually draw our skybox, we're using, of course, project and view matrices. This part of the code we're not drawing any planets, so that part is useless. Light position, we don't want lighting, and uniform project view, uniform data. Okay, that uniform data is for lighting, I guess. Perspective, blah blah. Yeah. uniform data. However, we're changing that. Why? Oh yeah, set translation 0. That is our view matrix. We're not doing lighting on the skybox. Let's for now draw. Let's run this example. So let's start. Where is it? Let's run this and see what happens. Where are the textures? This has no texture? That's interesting. Anyways, that is the code there. So what I'm wondering here is why are we doing this? Uniform that where is this coming from? I believe this is the first mention of this variable except for that. I believe this line is mcolor planet info data. M2 world matrix. I believe this line is useless. And guess what? It was useless. Let's just make sure that that just works exactly the same. Yeah, that works just exactly the same. So this is useless here. Let's get rid of that. And I believe there should be. What are we doing with the camera? Oh, okay. That is what we're doing with the camera. View matrix. Alright. I'm okay with that. Let's see. Our draw here. We've got a good amount of work to do here. Acquire next image. Alright. Let's. So from all this code, I believe we're going to need only this part. And of course a project matrix. Let's copy paste this here. I am not sure if I'm going to actually put this in update because we don't really need to update our skybox uniform data every time, do we? Maybe we do. Huh. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? It does have to be updated there because of the view. So yeah, we do have to update our skybox matrices as well because of this view matrix here. So I would need these two lines as well. Camera controller update. That there. Let's copy this anyway. Update the system like that. Let's put these in here. It wouldn't hurt, would it? So what we're doing here is just trying to uh, calculate our project and our uniform data sky. So let's change that name. That is going to be skybox uniform data. Alright, and then we're of course going to clear this. Going to clear it here. We're going to deal with our uh, we're going to deal with our global variables soon. Okay, that should work just fine. So I guess we can start drawing now. In our draw function, require next image. What are we doing here? This require next image is given the swap chain is, and of course an index. It requires the next image. Ah, alright. Let's see what we do here. Get fancy status. These are orderless and update resource. That is a resource. Uh, this is the resource manager stuff, resource loader stuff. We're not getting into the abstraction of that part. This part, however, it is all. That is all. That is all CPU. That is all render part. Let me see how we can actually. Let's see how we can actually abstract that. First, you're setting barriers here. Maybe I should. So the issue here is that we do actually have a render target here, but it is not same as the rest of our render targets. It is a weird render target. This is an exception here. Exceptional special render target. That is not good. Command bind render targets. Command set Caesar. Set viewpoint. Bind targets. Yeah, we're going to do some. I'm starting to realize that we need to do some kind of uh, some other kind of abstraction later on. Like what I would like to do is just get a pipeline. So we have an abstraction of a pipeline. It has a command that would draw into that pipeline. Each pipeline would have a render target, which would be a render 2, and that is this here. There is that bind render targets. Of course, the render target would be optional, like for compute pipelines. You wouldn't necessarily have to put a render target there. You could have directly drawn could directly drawn into the texture. That is what the compute pipeline would do. Compute shaders. We'll get to that too, I guess. So this is causing some dilemma here, whether to actually just get it to work or do refactoring. Let's get it to work. Let's get it to work for now. Okay. So what I'm realizing is that three uh three kinds of we have three kinds of pipelines. One that would actually draw us directly to the swap chain. The other would draw into a render target, and another that wouldn't draw to any of those. That would be compute pipelines. Each each pipeline would need a command here. What is our barriers here? What resource barrier? Begin GPU frame, GPU frame, profile token. Okay, I'm not using profiler family. Nope, I am not. Let's see there, blah blah. Alright. This is going to be a huge refactoring in our design. Our design would be changed completely. Ah, let's get to work. Let's just get a working example. We'll deal with the design dilemmas later. Okay, so I'm going to get a command from the render itself. Let's see. We have the commands here, graphics command, and we just need to begin drawing. And at begin drawing, I would check this, do that, and then I would do this as well. This is going to be done as well. Same with this part. Ground resource barriers. So yeah, I need I would need some deep structural changes later on. Let's start with this. Stud unit PDR. Start drawing. This would give me, this would do all those parts of the code. It would get the image, bind the fences, do all the weighting, all that needs to be done. This as well. So, and this is this too. Where did we bind? Where is our binding? That bind. Let me see what is this. Why is that not used at all in the code? Are you kidding me? That is not used. You tell me I can remove this? Okay, okay, I was wrong. That is used here. Load action clear, load action. That I would do as well. Okay, I would do that too. We have we had some stuff right there. This part of the code. That is making me wonder. Where are we rebinding? What the hell did I just do? Seemingly we are rebinding it. We bind it once here. We draw the skybox, draw the planets, and we rebind, and then we draw the UI. And we draw the UI on top of this. So that is just removing the depth buffer. Oh, that is just nice. -1 being casted to Unit 32, that is just nice. Let me see. Load action. So I guess this is just saying that I don't want the depth buffer anymore. So that is rebinding. And then here on, I guess we're just drawing the, yeah, we are just drawing the UI here. So I need this part of the code. in my user space, it is not a good idea that our VB buffer itself is not providing us with this stride. Oh, 6, so many magic numbers there, and then we submit, q submit, and q present. So what is q present? What does that do? Active profile. Let's check that. So one thing that we realize now is that we might need to change our render target mid process. So that is one interface that we need to actually provide. Based on force. What is this about? The profile. I have no idea what this QPresent skipper does. Bring SwapChain, submit that. Let's do it. I guess this is just for the SwapChain sake. It's just saying that we are ready, I guess. Okay, we're doing this part. Now render. Let's finish this. Start drawing. So that is going to be render footer. Okay, that's our render footer. Our swap chain, which is swap chain.get, and we have pimage requires semforce gframe index. So gframe index should be my member here, and I would need to actually declare a swap chain here. Not semaphore. Let's see. I'm copying this and adding a member as my swap chain semaphore. Where's my swap chain? Okay, it is here, and here's the swap chain semaphore. These should be a single. These two should be one object. Swap chain semaphore. And of course, what is that? We need a Uint32 for what would this be? Swap chain. Swap chain image index. Okay, that should be fine. Now we have some really deep redesigns to do. It is weird. This is actually so darn weird. The how the pipeline isn't the central point viewpoint in this engine. Like everything should be part of the pipeline. That is probably going to be the way I'm going to design this interface. So you deal with the pipelines directly. So our renderer here is actually kind of pipeline. It's just a single pipeline here, except that it is actually just keeping managing some lifetime and keeping the render itself. So start drawing. SwapChain. That is auto ref. Render complete fence. Okay, that is going to be a member function here for our graphics command. So that is going to be require command, which is going to wait on the do this waiting here. So yeah, point it to our renderer. Render complete fence. That is going to be our fence here. Fence status is that. There goes that one. Wait for fences. So yeah, where do we use the semaphore though? I don't know where that one is used. Is it actually not used? Oh, it is used. It is used on the submit process. Okay, then I guess this is going to have a submit member as well. This is definitely not the correct abstraction here, but I'm just going to get it to work. We need we need radical redesigns here, and that I shall be doing. Alright, submit. It is going to get a queue. And then it's going to do the submitting, which is going to be you present scripters, the queue. That is going to be the submit, but what about this? What is this actually? This has nothing to do with the, this literally has nothing to do with the command, so that is not part of the command there, but this is. Submit descriptor, blah blah, this. Image requires semaphore, why would you need that? Signal fence. Well, I guess I'm getting the wait semaphore, but I have no clue why. I literally have no clue why I am doing that. Let's do it. Let's do it anyways. Semaphore. Ref. Wait semaphore. My knowledge here of the engine is definitely lacking, so let's get this to compile and we will try to actually figure out how the elements connect to each other. There goes that. That is our signal semaphore. Yeah, I need a lot of learning to do here. Render complete fence. I believe that works. Graphics queue, that is going to be our queue there. That is that. That should just work like a charm. Oops, that was not correct. Okay, looks fine to me. That is our submit acquire command. I'm just going to return the command on the makes you wonder, do you want to actually acquire this command? Let's do it like so for now. Now you need to replace some actual code. So here we just dumped these for good. We're going to require this command here. Require, come on. And then we're going to have submit command here. I'm in the queue. And what would the name of that queue be? Graphics command queue footer. I am not comfortable around so many queues here, so many pointers here. Semaphore pointer that needs changing. Okay, that should be fine at this point. So that is gonna start drawing, but how do we actually? So this render thing we have here, it is actually a single pipeline. So we just had a minor hiccup there. And yeah, so what I'm thinking here, I should provide a method of a method to provide an interface for the user to do this. Okay, we are back. So I was just trying to figure out. I still am trying to figure out this, like command bind vertex buffer. So one way of doing it would be that I would provide every single one of these, except of course, no, maybe that's even fine. I would need, yeah, I would need to provide every single one of those. Ah, yeah, interesting. So this concept of pipeline is different from what I had in mind. This is the hardware pipeline, which is the vertex buffer, blah blah, fragment shader, and other stuff like all the programmable pipeline of the GPU. And I would call this whole thing a pipeline. That is a pipeline to me. You first draw the skybox, then you draw the planets, then you do UI, then whatever else you need. So this is all together just a single pipeline to me. Or yeah, we are connected. Okay. Yeah. To me that would be a single pipeline there. And that is how I'm probably going to abstract this out as a single pipeline. But for now I just am going to try to finish this. So this is the heavy part. I would need to provide uh, many interfaces. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it anyways. We're going to our graphics command here. And that is not our naming convention. Start drawing and our command here. So we would need to provide bind pipeline. Pipeline ref pipeline, and we're going to bind it. Just going to simply that function call. Why is that? Beautiful. I have no idea what this is doing actually. I'm starting to figure it out. So that is what's happening here. I'm starting to get this. Kinda get this. That is some improvements. So we have a uniform buffer that is bound to this render target. So this uniform buffer is actually changed. So on the update, I would be updating that particular uniform buffer because the other uniform buffer could be still in use by the GPU. That is what this is doing. Using two variables wouldn't really hurt. This is just making the code so hard to understand. Like this is really difficult to understand. So, anyways, let's finish this abstraction. And I believe we could get a working pipeline tomorrow. We are so close. And an index, we would need index. And finally bind vertex buffer. Why would they not put a stride into this? That is my question, really. I'm pretty darn sure that it wouldn't really mean anything that you would try to change the strat with via which you're drawing. That would be completely nonsensical. Why would they do that? I'm probably going to stop this at this point. We don't have a complete code, but I think uh, we have some we have some work to do before we actually get a working code. So I don't think it is going to fit into this session. But I guess tomorrow we will get our skybox rendered. I'm pretty sure we will be able to render our skybox. Okay, so I'm gonna put that up there. And that's it for today. See you guys tomorrow.